Okay, so Jay Leno is apologizing for racist jokes he made in the past about Asians. Last month, Jay met with the Media Action Network for Asian Americans and apologized for decades of jokes at the expense of Asian people. In a statement, Jay said at the time he genuinely thought they were harmless, but now regrets making the jokes. He added he doesn't think his case is an example of cancel culture, but a legitimate wrong that was done on his part. Last year, Gabrielle Union revealed to Variety magazine that she overheard Jay make a racist joke about Koreans eating dog meat while he was a guest judge on America's Got Talent. Okay, so Al, as a comedian, what do you make of his apology and even some of his previous jokes at the expense of Asian Americans?
I mean, well, wait, now you already cashed the checks for him. I mean, you go after smaller and marginalized groups because they're easy. Because they can't fight back. And he had his opportunity, and if memory serves, I should have looked this up during the break, but I believe one of his first movies as a young comic was with Pat Morita. You know, and you would think that they would have formed a bond, so when he told those jokes, he would be thinking of his friend. So I just find this very disturbing. Yeah, and it's called Collision Course. They did make a movie, like in, I think, the 80s at some point. So it's very strange.
It's a very obscure reference.
But I watch a lot of comedy.
Jay Leno and Pepperine. All right, so anyways, I don't think this is cancel culture at all. And you know how I feel about cancel culture. This is accountability, right? He's taking accountability for what he has done in the past. And I think everyone's got to look in the mirror and not necessarily go on social media and point the finger, but look at themselves and say, I could have done better. I should have learned from that experience. Because who is perfect in this life? Who hasn't said something? Me and my friends, I'm going to give a perfect example without using anything. I have a diverse group of friends, and I'll use my Mexican friends as an example. I'm part Italian, part German. We crack on each other all the time with certain stereotypes, but that's in our small group. Does that make it okay because we're in our small group, or should we not even set that example? We're not doing it out in public, but that's how we kind of,
I think friends interacting is kind of,
me and you
fine.
crack like that. Yeah. There are certain stereotypes that we bounce off on each other, but does that mean it's not okay to say at all?
I think that's different when you're in your own circle, and that's going to be up to you and your own circle, right?
Right.
Now, with Jay Leno, I take the opposite.
Because he's on a public forum, yes.
Well, Erica, and jump in here, I think too little too late here. I'm glad he's finally taking accountability, and I do agree with Jeff that this is accountability culture, consequence culture, but I feel like he's been pressured into finally apologizing. It's been too many years.
Accountability. We take accountability after 8 people were massacred in a racist attack. That's when we take accountability, because it seems to me like in November of 2019, when Gabrielle Union was let go of America's Got Talent and specifically named Jay Leno, a man who her first big break in late night television interview was Jay Leno, and she said that she held him to high regards. In December of that year, Jay was asked specifically if he thought that Gabrielle Union was treated fairly. And he said, I don't know. I think she's a great girl. Okay, Jay, first of all, she's a woman, but okay. He never took accountability then. And this is a woman who decided to stand up and say that something was not right, even though the racist joke wasn't specifically about her. Everybody's always talking about, if you see something, say something. But when are we going to stand up and support the people who are actually saying something?
Wow.
Because the consequences fall on them. And if we don't say something in order to support the people who are saying things in the moment, you know, a year and a half before we have the uptick of Asian hate crimes. And Jay says in his statement, never acknowledges anything about what happened with America's Got Talent, basically gaslit the situation and never even took accountability for saying the joke. And now he comes back and says that if I had any contribution to racist ideology, that would really hurt me. It would hurt you? Yes, you did contribute. And you had ample opportunities to take accountability when the stakes weren't as high. But now we're on the other side of it. So I don't want to hear it.
I'm
but
with
I would
you.
like an apology for Gabrielle Union.
I'm going to push back, because then what do you want from people, Erica? Do you want them not to apologize? If I found something in my past that I wasn't happy about and I come out now you're saying it's too late and I should be held to this.
No, Jeff,
when do you want people to apologize?
That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. When in his statement, he says that he has been confronted with this same complaint over and over again. And he had to make the decision as a comedian, which I do understand the line of thinking. Do I go with people and say, oh, I need to apologize? Or do I say, this is a situation where people can't take a joke? Now, over the span of his career, he's chosen on this particular issue to continue to say these people can't take a joke, and then ties it to our conflict with North Korea and all of these other things. But in the grand scheme of things, what I'm telling you is that when you hear something over and over and over again, sometimes that's a check on you, because every single time that little bell is rung, it's getting you closer and closer to a situation where you're not going to be able to talk yourself out of. So that's all I'm saying. He had an opportunity very publicly for someone who was being treated very unfairly on account of something that he said, and it turns out he said it.
I got you.
All I'm saying is, why didn't you take accountability then?
I got you. And I'm using Jay Leno as a jump-off point here. I'm trying to relate to the rest of America, saying like, hey, man, this is a woke culture, or Black Lives Matter, and maybe I didn't treat people the way I should have in the past. I want to apologize for that. And now I should be scared to come forward and apologize about something I've done wrong.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And I do not want, I don't want that message lost in there.
And I don't want my message lost either, that you think I'm talking about everybody else. I'm using Jay Leno as a jump-off point to everybody in America wanting to get better as a human being and apologize for what they did in the past. Maybe I was a little bit of a bully in high school. Maybe I didn't treat this person in college the way I should have. I'm just using this as a jump-off point for everybody, not Jay Leno specifically. And if that's where I'm going with this whole thing.
I think you got to take it case by case basis. Yeah.